Hey everyone. Starting Pilates Flow in about 5 minutes. 40-minute class, and we'll see you real soon. All right. Welcome everyone to Pilates Flow. I've got some toys here. Foam cylinder. Softball. I've got some Pilates weights. And I've got a ring. So I'll probably use those today. You don't necessarily need those. I'll offer some options if you don't have those accoutrements. So I suggest finding a seat. If you have that foam roller, you can pop up on the foam roller. If you don't have a foam roller, you might use a pillow. The idea is you want to get the knees and the hips at least on the same plane. If you get the knees a little bit lower, you can let that place where the thigh joints into the hip lengthen. Generally when we sit on the floor, the knees are a little bit higher, so you can't get that stretch where the thighs connect into the hips. As we sit, I'll invite you to find a very loose diamond shape with the legs. Heels a little bit apart, toes face out. Hands on our thighs, and we can push the thighs away as we sit up a little straighter, a little taller. Let's find the various breaths we'll use in our Pilates Flow practice. The first being our relaxing breath, which is the belly breath. As we bring fingers on either side of the navel, as we breathe into our belly, the hands are going to move out, the fingers are going to widen. And as we breathe out, the hands move in and the fingers narrow. So it's a very easeful breath here. So not a lot of muscular engagement, just let it happen. Now working on our engagement breath, our Pilates breath, I'll invite you to bring both hands onto your ribs, and we can inhale into our ribs, hands move out, fingers widen. It's also known as a side body breath, so you really want to feel the breath in both side ways, really expanding those ribs on the inhale. Now working on the Pilates exhale as we bring our fingers below our navel. And on the inhale, we want to breathe into our ribs. On the exhale, we want to draw that low belly region in and up, almost like a J stroke. That's called a scoop. So breathing into your ribs. On the exhale, we really want to engage that low belly in and up as we scoop. Breathing into those ribs. On the exhale, scoop. One more here. Breathing into those ribs. On the exhale, scoop. One more thing about the Pilates breath, or the breathing in Pilates, is that we breathe in through the nose, and feel free to let the breath come out through the mouth. On the belly breath, you might let it spill out, just a very loose exhale. On the Pilates breath, maybe making an O with the lips and letting the breath slip out. So breathing into the ribs. On the exhale, scoop, breathing out through an O. Breathing into the ribs. And then scooping as you breathe out through an O. Breathing into those ribs. On the exhale, scooping as you breathe out through that O. So let's flip on to our backs here. So let's bring the cylinder off to the side, or the pillow off to the side. I'm going to go a little bit long here. And I'm going to use this ball here to support the back of my head. Sometimes the neck can get strained in Pilates, and I don't want to have that happen to me or to you. If you don't have the Pilates ball, you could always grab a pillow. I'll be flat on my back. I'll be supporting the back of my head with the ball or the pillow. So let's find what we call neutral pelvis. I'll invite you to bring your fingers onto your hip points, and we can rock the hips up, and then we can rock the hips down as we tilt the pelvis away from the face. The low back lifts. And just a few more times like this, rocking the pelvis up, and tilting the pelvis away from the face. Big, big, obvious motion. And then letting it get faster and smaller, like a ball rolling to the bottom of a bowl. And then finding your neutral pelvis. You're going to be heavy on the tailbone. There's going to be a sense of space in the lumbar spine. Most of the Pilates exercises, you want to keep your neutral pelvis, and that'll give an opportunity to strengthen some of the less accessible muscles of our center. The other way we work the back or the pelvis and back combined, in the Pilates practice is to imprint. So I'll invite you to bring hands on hips, and then we want to press the low back into the mat. So we're eliminating that space in the low back. And that's going to recruit the more obvious muscles of our center, and we'll do that in the roll-ups and roll-downs. So from here, we can find our Pilates breath with neutral pelvis. One hand on the low belly, one hand on the ribs. Breathing into the ribs. On the exhale, scoop. Breathing into the ribs. On the exhale, scoop. Breathing into the ribs. On the exhale, scoop. So let's work the traditional warm-up exercise in Pilates, the hundreds. So we can bring hands on either side of our hips. We'll do easy hundreds first set. We'll find our tabletop legs. I'm going to keep my neutral pelvis. So notice if I draw the thighs too far in, I start to imprint. I don't want that. I want that space in the low back. From here, I'll lift up my hands. I'm going to push down 5 times. I'm going to push up 5 times with the breath. So I'm going to exhale down and push up. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. We're halfway done. Last 10. And then lowering the hands, lowering the feet. Let's come out of those hip flexors a little bit. As we go wide with the feet, let the knees knock in, hands on our belly, letting those hip flexors relax as we find a belly breath in. And let it spill out through the mouth. Belly breath in through the nose. Let that belly breath spill out through the mouth. Breath in through the nose. Let it spill out through the mouth. So let's work a harder set of hundreds. So I'm going to remove the ball or the pillow from behind the back of my head. This time I'm going to let the hands float. I'm going to find our tabletop legs, and then I'm going to move those legs to 45 degrees. And again, notice if I draw the thighs too far in, I lose my neutral pelvis. I'm going to work the thighs out enough to keep that sense of space in the low back. One more thing, Pilates foot position. Heels connect, the toes point out. I'm going to find the tips of my shoulders, maybe a little bit higher. I'm going to push down 5 times and push up 5 times with the breath. Inhale to prepare. And push up. We're halfway done. Last 10. And I'm going to lower the feet. I'm going to lay the head down. Again, I'm going to go wide with the feet. Let the knees knock in. Palms on the belly for a big belly breath in through the nose. Let it spill out through the mouth. Breath in through the nose. Let it spill out through the mouth. Belly breath in through the nose. Let it spill out through the mouth. From here, let's stretch long through an arm. Let's roll onto one side, letting that arm cushion the head. And then pushing on up. And let's work some half roll downs and half roll ups. So I'm going to use my various props here. I'm going to take that Pilates ball and bring it between my inner knees. I'm going to grab my Pilates ring, thumbs on the inside, palms on the out. We can start from tall spine. Back of the head's in line with the sacrum. From here, we're going to find C-spine, exhaling down about halfway. On the inhale, back to tall spine. On the exhale, C-spine, tucking tail and chin as we reach. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, C-spine as we come about halfway down. Inhaling, tall spine. Exhale, C-spine. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, about halfway down. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, C-spine. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, about halfway done. We're halfway done. We're about halfway done here. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, C-spine. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, halfway down. We got 2 more to go. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, C-spine. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, down. We got 1 more after this. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, C-spine. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, down and hold. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale and hold. Exhale. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, C-spine. Inhale, tall spine. And then just draping yourself over those legs as you relax the shoulders for a big belly breath. In through the nose. Let it spill out through the mouth. Breath in through the nose. Let it spill out through the mouth. Breath in through the nose. Let it spill out through the mouth. So let's work a full roll down here. So we go a little bit longer here. So we start from tall spine. On the exhale, finding C-spine as we slowly roll ourselves down. When we get down, arms by the ears, not too low. We want to keep the ribs soft and drawing in. Pointing fingers and toes as we lay the head down. And then on the exhale, just bringing the ring off to the side for at least a sec. Hands find the belly for a big belly breath in. And a big belly breath out. So we're going to work some half roll-ups from the ground. We want to try to keep our neutral pelvis the whole time. Either working long legs on the floor or working your feet in. We start with the ring over the heart, thumbs on the inside, palms on the out. We lift the head to tuck the chin. We find the tips of the shoulders, maybe a little bit higher, but don't lose that neutral pelvis. And we inhale it back down. Exhale it up. Inhale it down. Exhale it up. Inhale it down. We're halfway done. Exhale it up. Inhale it down. Last 2. Exhale it up. Inhale it down. Last one, let's hold. We exhale it up. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. Breath in. And then breath out. As we lay it back down. And then a big breath in. And a big breath out. From here, let's bring the ring off to the side for a sec. Let's bring the ball out from between the knees. We can bring the ball inside the ring so it doesn't roll away. Stretching long through an arm, we'll roll onto one side. And then we'll push on up. So let's do some full roll downs and full roll ups. And we'll start from the top, grabbing our ball between the knees, either working straight legs or a little bit of a bend in the knee. We've got the ring in front, starting from tall spine, inhaling. Exhaling, we slowly roll ourselves down. Inhaling, low back lifts, arms by the ears, breathing in. Now breathing out, ring over heart. We're going to imprint the back into the mat, staying grounded through the heels as we roll ourselves up. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, C-spine. Inhale, tall spine. Exhaling, rolling ourselves down. Inhale, full body stretch, low back lifts. Exhaling, rolling it up as we imprint the back. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, C-spine. Inhale, tall spine. Exhaling, rolling it down. Inhale, full body stretch. Exhaling, rolling it up. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, C-spine. Inhale, tall spine. Exhaling, rolling it down. Inhale, full body stretch. Exhaling, rolling it up. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, C-spine. Inhale, tall spine. Exhaling, rolling it down. Let's do 2 more after this. Full body breath, breathing in, low back lifts. Exhaling, rolling it up. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, C-spine. Inhale, tall spine. Exhaling, rolling it down. Let's do 1 more after this. Inhale, full body stretch. Exhaling, rolling it up. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, C-spine. Inhale, tall spine. And just finding a loose forward fold, relaxing the shoulders, relaxed neck for a big belly breath in through the nose. Let it spill out through the mouth. Belly breath in through the nose. Let it spill out through the mouth. Belly breath in through the nose. Let it spill out through the mouth. Excuse me. All that deep breathing. So let's do single leg circles. So let's bring the ring off to the side. We can bring the ball inside the ring so it doesn't roll away. Let's get down onto our backs so we can start from tall spine, Frankenstein arms, finding C-spine as we roll ourselves down. Inhale, full body stretch, arms overhead, and then bringing hands by our hips. I'm going to support the back of my head on this one, so I'm going to grab that ball again. If you have a pillow, you might tuck it behind the back of your head. I want to work single leg circle with neutral pelvis. So I'm going to lift right leg up. I'm going to lift left leg off the floor. I'm going to float those hands as I stretch fingers towards the feet. On the exhale, I'm going to circle right leg off to the right. I inhale it through center and just past the midline. We'll do 6 this way. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. We're halfway done. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. Last one. Exhale and inhale. Now we're going to take it the other way. I exhale past the midpoint. Inhale it around. Halfway done. Last 2. Last one. And then back to center. Left leg comes down. I'll ground down through the hands. Soft point to the toes. I slowly, slowly, slowly lower that leg down. Letting the feet splay out. Hands find the belly for a big belly breath in. Let it spill out through the mouth. Belly breath in through the nose. Let it spill out through the mouth. Belly breath in through the nose. Let it spill out through the mouth. Second side. I'm going to lift left leg up. I'm going to float the right leg about, say 4 inches off. I'm going to stretch fingers to toes. And I'm going to exhale leg out to the side. And then pass the midline on the inhale. Halfway done. Last one this direction. And then taking it the other way. Past the midpoint, out to the side. Halfway done. Last 2. And last one. And back to center. Right leg comes down. I ground down through the hands. Soft point to the toe as I slowly lower that leg on down. Letting the feet splay out. Hands on the belly. Big belly breath in. Let it spill out through the mouth. Belly breath in through the nose. Let it spill out through the mouth. Belly breath in through the nose. Let it spill out through the mouth. So let's do a roll up. I'll suggest catching your pillow or your ball between the hands. Full body stretch, breathing in as we point fingers and toes. On the exhale, ball over heart. We'll press the back into the mat as we slowly roll ourselves up. When we get to our sit, inhale, tall spine. Exhale, C-spine. Inhale, tall spine. And then on the exhale, just draping yourself over those legs for a big breath in through the nose. Let it spill out through the mouth. So let's play with rolling like a ball. So let's take that ball inside the ring so it doesn't roll away. We're going to bring our knees on in. Elbows are going to cup the outer knees. Fingers are going to catch the front of the ankles. C-spine the whole time on this one. So we're going to lift up our heels as we balance on our tailbone. Chin is tucked. On the exhale, I'm going to roll back to the shoulders, not any further than that. We don't want to roll onto the neck. And then we're going to inhale it up. So inhale to prepare. On the exhale, we roll it back. And inhale it up. Exhale it back. We inhale it up. Exhale it back. We inhale it up. Exhale back. We inhale up. 2 more to go. Exhale back. We inhale up. Exhale back. We inhale up and hold. And then draping ourselves over those legs for a big belly breath in through the nose. Let it spill out through the mouth. Breath in through the nose. Out through the mouth. Breath in through the nose. Out through the mouth. From here, let's come back down onto our backs. Let's do it with a roll down. Also just grabbing our Pilates ball here. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, C-spine as we slowly roll ourselves down. Inhale, full body stretch, arms by the ears. And then let's bring that ball onto our belly. Hand on top of the ball, hand on top of that. And just pressing the ball gently into our belly to massage our stomach as we breathe our belly breaths in. Belly breath out through the mouth. Belly breath in. Belly breath out. Belly breath in. Belly breath out. Alternating legs. Let's bring that ball behind the back of the head to keep our neck nice and happy. We're going to draw the right knee in. Hands are going to catch the far side of the shin. We're going to lift left leg up, soft point to the toe on both sides. Inhale to prepare. On the exhale, we switch. So inhale to prepare, and exhale and switch. Inhale. And let's do 12 of these. Couple more each way. Last one, let's hold that leg long. Breath in, breath out. Exhale and switch and hold that extra breath. And then drawing 2 knees in. We're going to lose our neutral pelvis here as we imprint. And then we're going to circle the legs around, coming back to neutral pelvis, low back lifts, and then low back grounds. And just working that tilting of the pelvis front to back as we work with that space in the lumbar spine. And then taking those knee circles the other way. So let's do a second set the hard way. So I'm going to remove the ball from behind the back of my head. I'm going to bring it inside the ring so it doesn't roll away. I'm going to keep the head lifted. I extend long through the left leg. Inhale to prepare. I want to keep neutral pelvis the whole time here. Exhale and switch. And we'll do 12. Couple more each way. Last one each side, let's hold. Breath in, breath out. Exhale and switch and hold. Breath in, breath out. And then laying the head down, drawing 2 knees in. And again, losing neutral pelvis as I hug the knees in. Circling the knees to one side, regaining neutral pelvis as the low back lifts. And then a few more times here. Just feeling that undulation of the low back. And then taking it the other way. And then back to center. Let's do a roll up. Not a roll up. Let's do a rock up. So reaching back with a hand to lift and tuck the chin. Elbows catch the outer knees. Fingers find the front of the ankles. We'll roll it front to back, massaging our spine, and then popping on up. Let's go long through the legs. Let's bring that ball into the belly. And as if we're rounding up and over that ball, we'll find a forward fold. And then letting those shoulders relax as we breathe our belly breath into that ball. From here, let's flip on to our bellies. And our first shape is going to be a crocodile shape across of the forearms, forehead heavy on forearms, and just connecting with your belly breath, letting your body rise and fall as you breathe. From here, let's find a Sphinx pose as we bring our elbows under our shoulders, spreading those fingers wide, shoulder blades back and down. From here, let's make two fists with the hands. We'll press the fists together. We're going to try to kick a glute with two short, sharp exhales. Inhale through center, and then we'll find the other side. A picture's worth 1,000 words. Inhale to prepare. On the exhale, trying to kick a glute. Inhale, other side. We'll do 6. Here's 3. Couple more each way. One more each side, we'll hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale, kick closer. Inhale through center. Inhale and hold. Exhale, kick closer. Inhale through center. And then we'll lose those fists. We'll pull back with the hands to lengthen front heart. We'll switch the cross of the forearms and just let yourself be super, super heavy as we rest and relax on the floor. Now let's do that same exercise. So we start from our Sphinx. We make two fists with the hands. We press those fists together. And now we're going to add a little look over the shoulder as we connect upper and lower back. So inhale to prepare. And then looking over our shoulder. Inhale through center. Couple more each way. One more each side, we'll hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale, kick closer. Inhale through center. Inhale and hold. Exhale, kick closer. Inhale through center. And then losing those fists, pulling back with the hands to lengthen front heart. And then finding that first cross of the forearms and letting yourself be super, super heavy as we rest and relax. From here, let's move towards easy swan. As we ground down through the chin, hands by our hips, the palms face up. We want to lift head and heart. We lift the legs, we lift the hands. From here, let's rock the swan. As we lower the toes, we lift the heart. As we lower the heart, we lift the toes. We'll do 6. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. 2 more to go. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last one. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then coming all the way down. And let's take our head to one side as we rest and relax on the floor. Now turning our head the other way as we rest and relax on the floor. Let's do one more prone body exercise, very similar to the swan with our hands by our side, but this time let's have the arms in extension. So the arms are in front of us. We lift head and heart. We lift the legs. We lift the arms. Now lowering the toes, lifting the hands. Lowering hands, lifting toes. The whole body works together. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. We got 2 more to go here. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one, breathing in, breathing out. And then sweeping hands by our hips as we take our head to that odd side first and resting and relaxing on the floor. Letting that breath spill out through the mouth. Now turning the head the other way, breathing in through the nose, and let it spill out through the mouth. From here, let's find a rocking horse push-up as we ground down through the chin. The toes are tucked. We've got hands under shoulders. We want to start with an inchworm. The knees stay down, but we lift the hips up. And we want to keep the hips lifting the whole time as we push hard into the hands to lift ourselves up. And then stretching it back to rest position as we nestle our belly inside our thighs, forehead heavy on the mat. As we hold rest position, letting your belly massage your thighs as you breathe in, letting your thighs massage your belly as you breathe out. Keeping hips and heels just as they are, I'll invite you to find a side bend as we walk our hands to one side, stretching far hip to far heel. Now walking hands through center and finding that second side as we stretch other hip to other heel. Now walking hands back center, let's come back to an all fours position here. I'll go sideways here, and let's work the cat dog stretch. Breathing in, lifting chin and tail. On the exhale, tucking toes, tucking tail, tucking chin as we round it in. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, rounding it in. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, rounding it in. Let's throw rest position into the mix. Breathing in, lifting up. Big toes touch, sits bones back to the heels as we round the spine. Inhaling, finding the arc. Exhaling, drawing it back as we find the arch. One more time, breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, rounding it back. Let's add side to side. Breathing in, coming up center, and then drawing it back towards one heel. Inhaling, coming up center, and then finding that other heel. Two more times each side. Inhale it up. Exhale as we draw it back. Inhale it up. Exhale as we draw it back. One more time each way. Inhale it up. Exhaling, drawing it back. Inhale it up. Exhaling, taking it back. Let's add a figure 8. Inhaling, coming up center. Drawing it back to a heel. Keep the hips low, finding that other heel. Up on the other diagonal, shifting shoulders and hips. And back to first heel. Two more times like this. Breathing in. Breathing out as we draw it back. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, drawing it back. Now let's take that figure 8 the other way, up on the other diagonal, shifting shoulders and hips, and back to second heel. Inhale it up. Exhaling, drawing it back. One more time. Inhale it up. Exhale, drawing it back. And then back to an all fours position. From here, let's get to a down dog with the cat dog stretch as we walk the hands just a little bit front. Take a breath to lift chin and tail, and then tucking the toes, lifting the knees, rounding the spine, and then finding your tall spine or neutral spine as you push into the hands to stretch those heels down. As we hold this down dog, I'll invite you to walk the dog as you bend one leg deeply, grounding down through the opposite heel, and then finding that same stretch on the second side, and then freely moving back and forth between the sides, just stretching it out. From here, coming back towards stillness, let's walk the hands in towards the feet. Let me make sure I'm still in frame here. And then from here, let's walk the hands back out as we come back to our down dog. From here, let's walk the feet in towards the hands, and then grounding down through the hands as we walk the feet back out. Walking the hands in towards the feet, and then walking the hands back out. Walking the feet in towards the hands, and then walking the feet back out. Let's do it one more time each way. Hands walk in towards the feet, and then we walk the hands back out. Walking the feet in towards the hands, and let's hold as we catch opposite elbows and gently swing ourselves from side to side. Switching the cross of the elbows, keep swinging it from side to side. And then let's do an assisted roll up here. As we tuck the chin, hands find the thighs, we masterfully roll ourselves on up. From here, let's bring hands to the back of our hips, the fingers face down, and we'll just circle our hips for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll take those hip circles the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Bringing hips center, 4 fingers, find the tip of the thumb. We'll stretch out our wrists as we try to touch the front of our wrists. We'll bring those bird beaks onto our shoulders. The hips stay relatively stable as we circle our shoulder girdle for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll take it the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now back to center. We'll lose the bird beaks, arms in the air like you either do or don't care. We'll take hips one way, shoulders go the other for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll take it the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and back to center. Let's do a breath exercise here. So the knees are a little bit soft. We're going to make 2 fists with the hands. On the inhale, we'll find our Pilates breath as we breathe into our ribs. We'll draw a line through the navel, through the heart, up to the sky. As we exhale and scoop, we'll press the palms up to the sky and breathe out through the mouth. 2 fists below the navel. Inhale into those ribs. Exhale and scoop. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And let's do a couple more. Inhale. 1 more. Inhale. And then hands by our side. Finding those bird beaks again. Let's bring those bird beaks onto our shoulders. Let's lean a little bit forward. We'll roll one shoulder front and then the other. We'll do 6 this way. Here's 2 and 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll take it the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then relaxing the shoulders, hands by our side. From here, let's start to just rock ourselves from side to side for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then back to center, hands by our side. Let's keep the shoulders heavy. Let's work with our neck a little bit as we look up and down, up and down, up and down. We've got 3 more to go. Up and down. Last 2. Up and down. This last one, let's hold as we look up, stretching out the base of our throat. And then a tuck of the chin as we stretch out the back of our neck. Lifting the chin tall through the crown. Feel free to do this with me. Ears over shoulders. Ears and shoulders over hips. Ears, shoulders, hips over heels as we stand tall. Let's end our practice this morning coming back to our Pilates breath as we bring one hand on the low belly, one hand on the heart. Big breath into the, hand on the ribs. Big breath into our ribs on the inhale. On the exhale, scoop that low belly in and out. Into those ribs. Exhale and scoop, breathing out through an O. Breathing into those ribs. Breathing out through the O as we scoop. Ending with some relaxation here as we bring both hands under our belly. Big belly breath in through the nose. Let it spill out through the mouth. Breath in through the nose. Let it spill out through the mouth. Breath in through the nose. Let it spill out through the mouth. And then I'll invite you to bring hands to your heart as you thank yourself for practicing Pilates this morning, a quick 40-minute workout, getting our circulation going. And we'll see you all next time. If you're in the city and you have Bay Club privileges, I'm teaching on the roof at the Bay Club and also down at Gateway. If I don't see you there, I'll see you here. Thank you so much.